In the heart of the bustling military base, life moved with a rhythm of disciplined precision. Every soldier, every officer, played their part in a grand, coordinated dance. Among them was Alara, not a soldier, but a civilian analyst whose mind was as sharp as any blade on the training grounds. Her work was vital, sifting through data, finding patterns others missed, and providing insights that often guided critical missions. She was respected for her intellect, but her civilian status made her an outsider in a world defined by rank and uniform. One crisp morning, Alara was rushing to a high-level briefing, her arms full of classified documents. Her path intersected with a group of soldiers, their laughter echoing in the corridor. As she tried to squeeze past, a clumsy shove sent her tumbling down a short flight of stairs. Papers scattered like autumn leaves, and a sharp pain shot through her ankle. The soldiers paused, a flicker of concern crossing their faces before they were called away by a superior, leaving Alara sprawled at the bottom of the steps. They probably thought it was a minor mishap, a clumsy accident. They had no idea who they had just pushed. Alara gathered her papers, her jaw tight with pain and frustration. This wasn't just an accident. It was a symptom of the casual disregard she often faced. Limping, she made her way to the base clinic. The doctor confirmed a severe sprain. Grounded, unable to attend the briefing, she felt a surge of helplessness. The data she held was crucial, time-sensitive. It was about a flaw in the base's security protocols, a vulnerability she had spent weeks uncovering. Lying in the clinic, frustration turned into resolve. If she couldn't deliver the report in person, she would find another way. She accessed her secure network from a terminal in the clinic. The information she possessed was too important to be delayed by a sprained ankle and a few careless soldiers. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, compiling her findings into an urgent, encrypted message. She addressed it not to her immediate supervisor, but to the three most powerful figures on the base: General Armstrong, General Chun, and General Rodriguez. It was a bold move, bypassing the entire chain of command, but the situation demanded it. She hit send, her heart pounding. Within minutes, the response was not an email, but the blare of sirens across the entire base. An immediate, base-wide lockdown. No one in, no one out. The atmosphere shifted from routine to high alert in a heartbeat. The soldiers who had pushed her were stopped in their tracks, confusion etched on their faces. They couldn't comprehend what was happening. What they saw as a minor incident had somehow triggered a full-scale emergency. In the command center, the three generals stared at the data Alara had sent. It was a bombshell. She had discovered a backdoor in their encrypted communications network, a vulnerability so subtle it had gone unnoticed for months. It meant that every message, every strategy, every troop movement could have been compromised. Her report wasn't just a warning. It was a map of their own weakness, laid bare. General Armstrong, a man whose face seemed carved from granite, slammed his fist on the table. "This analyst," he boomed, his voice resonating with a mix of fury and awe. "She found what our entire cybersecurity division missed." "Where is she?" "In the clinic," Sir Nate replied. "She had an accident." The irony was not lost on them. The person who held the key to their security was incapacitated because of a moment of carelessness. General Rodriguez, known for her strategic mind, immediately understood the implications. "This wasn't just a network flaw," she said, her voice low and urgent. "This is an active threat. We abamole the lockdown holds. Seal everything." Meanwhile, the soldiers who had caused the incident were now being questioned. They recounted the morning's events, their bravado gone, replaced by a growing sense of dread. They explained they were in a hurry, that it was an accident, but in the context of a base-wide security breach, every action was under scrutiny. Their casual dismissal of Alara, the civilian, now looked like something far more sinister. Back in the clinic, two military police officers entered. Alara's heart sank. Had she overstepped? Was she in trouble for breaking protocol? But they weren't there to arrest her. They were her escort. She was being taken directly to the command center. As she was wheeled through the now silent corridors of the lockdown base, the gravity of the situation settled in. Every soldier she passed stood at attention, their eyes following her. She was no longer an invisible analyst. She was the center of the storm. Entering the command center was like stepping into the brain of the entire military operation. Screens flickered with data, and the air buzzed with tense, quiet energy. The three generals turned as she entered. There was no condescension in their eyes, only a raw, urgent respect. "Ms. Alara," General Armstrong began, his voice devoid of its earlier anger. "Your report has potentially saved this entire operation. Explain it to us. Everything." With the three most powerful people on the base listening to her every word, Alara, despite her throbbing ankle, laid out her discovery. She explained the sophisticated nature of the code, how it piggybacked on routine diagnostic signals, making it nearly invisible. She theorized it wasn't the work of a distant hacker, but someone on the inside, someone with high-level access. As she spoke, General Chun, an expert in counterintelligence, was already cross-referencing personnel files and access logs, using the parameters Alara provided. The digital trail she had uncovered began to form a picture, pointing towards one of their own senior officers. The investigation moved at lightning speed. The officer in question was discreetly apprehended. In his possession, they found a communication device, active and transmitting. He had been selling secrets to a foreign power for months. Alara's discovery had not just closed a vulnerability, it had exposed a traitor in their midst. Hours later, the lockdown was lifted, but the base was forever changed. Alara, sitting in the command center, watched as the normalcy slowly returned, but it was a new kind of normal. The generals looked at her, not as a civilian, but as a hero. "The soldiers who caused your accident," General Rodriguez said softly. "They are facing a disciplinary hearing. Their carelessness almost cost us everything." Alara looked down at her bandaged ankle. She felt a strange mix of emotions. They didn't know, General. They saw a civilian in their way. Maybe this will teach everyone that a uniform doesn't determine a person's importance. Her words hung in the air. General Armstrong nodded slowly. "You are right. We've been reminded of a valuable lesson today. This base is a team. Every single person matters." He then made a decision that would ripple through the entire military structure. He appointed Alara as the head of a new interdisciplinary task force, designed to bridge the gap between civilian analysts and military command. She would have a direct line to him, her insights no longer needing to fight their way up the chain of command. The soldiers who pushed her were reassigned to logistical duties, a humbling reminder of their blunder. They would see Alara in the hallways, no longer an anonymous face, but a figure of authority, often flanked by high-ranking officers who now sought her counsel. Alara's fall down the stairs became a legend on the base. It was the story of how a moment of carelessness led to the unmasking of a spy and the rise of an unlikely hero. It served as a constant reminder that sometimes the most significant victories don't happen on the battlefield, but in the quiet corridors of a base, and that true strength isn't always measured in physical power, but in the sharpness of one's mind and the courage to make your voice heard, no matter who stands in your way. Thank you for watching, and be sure to follow for more incredible stories.